Oh my gosh, congratulations, you found the perfect house. It only took weeks of working with a lender to give you a financial physical and dozens of showings with a real estate broker going into homes that just didn't fit. And now you found the house that you want to move into, and there's just one problem. You got to get your offer accepted. And unfortunately, in this market, it's super competitive, and there are probably a number of other buyers that want that house too. So here are some of our suggestions on how to construct an offer to win. The first and most important thing is you always want to put your best foot forward with respect to price. Most sellers, even though some other terms matter in your contract, like the inspection and the appraisal and the loan objection dates and all the timelines, most sellers, when they see an offer and they just see one really big number, they tend not to look at anything else. So if you're on the fence about whether to offer a couple dollars more, I would highly suggest you do it. You want to put your best foot forward and to lower the chances of getting a counteroffer or getting stuck into a bidding war. Besides the price, there are a few other things that you can play with to get your offer accepted. The first thing is your timeline. So for example, don't you think it's better for a seller if you're able to close a transaction quickly to give them certainty that they're going to have their money and be able to move on their merry way? Absolutely. So if you're taking your time and you're going to give them an offer and it's going to take you a few months to do an inspection and then a few months after that to move in, the seller's probably not going to want to wait around for you to figure out your situation and what you're going to do when there's another buyer ready to go. So if you're having any hesitancy about what to do, you want to make sure your timeline is as short as possible. As the buyer, you want to give the seller as much certainty that they're going to have a pile of cash and be able to move on with their lives. So the first thing you can do is play with your price. The second thing you can do is play with your timeline. And the third thing you can do is add in some additional, let's call it representations into your contract. So for example, you can represent that in your inspection process, you're only going to be inspecting for health, safety, and normal operations. Now, what does that mean? It means that you're telling the seller, hey, if I find a problem with some paint or carpet and it's a really minor fix, I'm not going to be submitting an inspection objection. That gives the seller certainty that they're going to be able to get the deal closed. Additionally, if you know you're pre-approved and there's no issue getting the loan, maybe you want to waive your loan objection. I'm not saying waive the appraisal because a lot of lenders will require an appraisal for you to get the home. But the loan objection really comes down to your ability to get approved and underwritten and really comes down to your credit as the buyer. So if you want to give the seller more certainty that you're the right buyer, waive your loan objection, or at least talk to your broker about how else to show the seller how good of a credit you are. So when it's time to make an offer for a house, don't forget you want to make an offer to win. So give them the highest price, the shortest timeline, and as much certainty this transaction is going to close as you possibly can.